Awesome. So we're live.
Yeah. Yes. By the way, how's the weather where you are?
It's like really. If it wasn't so windy, it would be really warm.
Yeah. I figured because since we live in like different hemispheres and it's so fucking cold here, I figured that it must be warm there.
Oh
That's a
man,
shame.
dude, do you have like mountains close to you? If you wanna say, I don't know if you wanna be open about that
I
yet.
don't mind saying. I mean, there's like not very tall mountains, but yes, there are mountains.
Are there any like ski resorts in Brazil at all?
I I think there's like artificial resorts, but not
Oh, like,
actual
oh really? Okay.
resorts. Yeah.
Wait, how don't the Andes go through Brazil, or am I completely wrong?
I think not. I think that's only in Chile.
So, oh my god, you got cucked by everything, man. In Brazil, yeah. Can't even go skiing. What has this fucking world come to, man? I can hear you now.
Yes, I can hear you. What happened?
I don't know. You were just gone.
I was gone?
Yes.
Really? Because for me, you were gone. You just stopped talking.
Yeah, man. No, I don't know. Like I have like really bad reception where I'm at right now, so that's probably why.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Yeah. What will you do without my fucking? No. Here's the thing. My voice, like, it sounds fine to you, but since I have to run it through a filter, it sounds like super loud, almost ear rapey in a way. So it's like every time I put it into the editing software, it sounds like that.
Huh. You have to put it in a filter because of the volume difference, I guess.
Yes, I can't. I don't know what it is. It's a very old mic that I am having.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Yeah. Yeah, so I wanted to. There were several things I wanted to bring up to you, but it's. I'm just gonna do the whole. What is it? The hot girl standing with her ass towards the camera. The last video I did. I just thought it was so funny, as it said like the viewer that I got so many views, or we got so many views because I just used that image. I
You
just
want
thought.
another one? That's probably going to get a lot of views as well.
I don't know, like I don't know how, because the one I sent to you now.
Try. I'm not sure if you tried it before in Stable Diffusion, but I think that you can do an underboob. If you know what that is.
Yes.
And I'm pretty fucking sure that gets a lot of traction as well.
Oh yeah. So if I had actually put the whole Virginia Woolf thumbnail thingy like with her just a little more up, with her showing a little underboob, I would just that video just 10,000 views immediately. Everyone would be like,
Yeah.
What the fuck? I love modernism now."
You know, I mean, clickbait is an art, you know? Before
Yes.
Jordan Peterson was like this big YouTuber, he was a medium YouTuber, right? And I mean, he's a small YouTuber. Well, he had a few lectures which were actually like, 10 to 20 times more views than his normal ones. And they were ones which had the thumbnail in sort of a clickbaity style. Like when he was talking about aggression, then he had like a baby and a crocodile in the thumbnail. And that seemed to gather a lot of attention.
Yeah, for this one, I see what you mean, because what I do, I just talk to ChatGPT. I just use it as an editor. I say, this is what we talked about. What should the title be? It gives me 5 titles suggestions. I use one of them. And then I just say, give me the tags, give me this description. I just copy paste it and go.
Soon enough, a lot of channels will be run by ChatGPT, huh?
I mean, the thing is, like, I've seen how to say, like, people use it that you can just say what you want and it generates it for you, so you don't have to do that much editing. And it depends on what sort of content you want to do, right? Because I mean,
you can probably, for example, transcribe the content of the video using AI,
Oh yes,
So
that's true.
it's like voice to text, and then you feed that into
Mm.
ChatGPT, and then you can automatically edit and uh, like name or title the video and the the description and etc. Right? Make it fully automatic.
Yeah, the thing is that how do I explain this? I think there is something to be said about originality, right? Because the problem is that I can spot AI now. Like I can spot it. I mean, like I don't know why I can. I just can. The same with the how to say the when something is written by AI. So I have to run it through. So this latest one I did is because, as I said, I was moving and stuff, so I didn't have that much time. So it was much more generic than I usually put it. Because although the rest of them is also done, like the editing is done with I mean, let's face it, I just put everything together. This one, I still try to do something original with them. This one in particular, the one I just sent to you in chat, that one, I didn't have as much time editing it because, as I said, I've been moving and stuff. It's just been chaos. So I haven't had
When you
as much time.
say that you can spot AI, do you mean like text or images?
Images is
Or
a little
both?
harder. The text
Oh,
I
okay.
can, but let me say why. Because ChatGPT has a very general way of talking. It almost has its own accent, and this
Yes.
is very detectable for me. I don't know why. I just can
Yes.
detect it very simply. The AI
Yeah.
art, I think, give in a year. I will say in a year I won't be able to say what is AI and what is not easily. 1 year, give it a year. But the thing is that,
Another
yeah, I just want to say,
unintended
yeah.
consequence of AI
Mhm.
is that a lot of people with shit taste are going to get very encouraged to have their own shit taste in display because they can get it looking like it's professional even though it's garbage.
Yeah. No. I agree with that point too. I mean, what I was gonna say is then it also builds into my point is that the thing is that a lot of people are so lazy that they don't. So even with these amazing tools, they won't do anything but generic shit with it. So it will be
Yes.
interesting to see the ones that can rise above it. So I don't think that. I mean, I've been calling them art cells and everything. I know that, but I don't think they should like be that upset because in a year when they see what everyone does with the generic stuff, then they will realize, oh wait, I can actually do it myself, and that will always. I want to be casual. I'm just casual. I'm not super optimistic, but I'm casually optimistic that they can still
That would
rise
be
above them.
that would be great if that happened. But so the reason I said about the shit taste is because like my gym put up like a poster,
Mm-hmm.
and the poster is like this Chuck doll,
Okay.
like
Okay.
very ripped for whatever reason. Chuck doll
Okay.
using wearing like a superhero costume and like lifting weights. And the Chuck doll has like 8 toes on the feet, so you know it's AI.
Oh my god. Oh. but
And
like
I mean, I'm not sure where the fuck that's in the gym, but it is. And I'm like, well,
at least can does it
that's
say
the
something
price of
funny?
AI.
Does it
No,
say
it's just that.
no? Oh my god.
It's
I mean, can it
yeah,
say? Can it say something funny? I don't know. On the top of my head, is something like either you start like I don't know. Either you start losing pounds or start cutting them off. Like at least that's a little clever, you know. But just have the fucking thing is standard. That oh my god. You know what? For the
yes.
next thumbnail, I'm gonna do that Shuck doll, but I'm gonna do it way better. I'm just gonna do it so beautifully with a beautiful ass too.
And
It's gonna be like uvu
there's
ass
also
to their screen. Anyway,
there's
continue.
also cinematic lighting on it, you know, like
Ah,
very deep shadows and stuff.
oh yeah.
Uh,
The velvety shadows. 1.5 between the brackets. Rim light.
volumetric lighting.
Octane render.
Yes,
Highest
tags that you can
quality.
put in, and that doesn't even fucking do anything, you know. Like you
Dude,
click
yeah, I
it
know.
off and nothing changes.
I know. Like I just, man. I what I do now, and
The thing,
Anyway,
Sorry, before we move on, I just wanted to say I also can tell more or less when something is written by AI because it sort of it smells like high effort, I guess.
oh yeah.
Like no one puts that much effort into like the internet, so you can tell it's AI.
Oh yeah, that's true. No, because I mean, even the thumbnails I'm doing, the only one that I put the most effort in was the Virginia Woolf one because it was trickier to do. And but the other ones, I mean, they're eye catching, sure. But if you really start looking at them as, I would never like say this is art. I wouldn't because they are. I mean, they work for thumbnails. They're fine, right? But whatever, right? But like as an art piece, something I would put on Reddit, no, never.
Mm-hmm.
No, what I wanted to say though is that what I do now is that I put in my prompt and then I just do it on very low pixels, like 512 times 512, and do 100. Then I find one, and then I do image to image with that one.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yes,
that
that's a better way to do it because you can't control like the AI is too random. You need a lot of roles before you can actually settle on something you like, and then once you have like the general form, the image to image is better at like creating variations for that basic shape.
mm. No. I agree because then it's sort of it knows. Yeah, no, we already said it all. But what I will say is there's something else. So what I'm saying is that I'm casually optimistic for another reason. That is because artists have something that you have heard of called the muse. Do you know what the muse is, like in this context? Have you heard of it?
Yes, I
Yeah,
have.
can you explain what it is?
I mean,
Define
it's
it, bro!
like
Define it! I just won this debate.
uh,
I'm a lefty. I just asked you to define
uh,
something. You can define in 3 sentences, so I win. Anyway, continue.
it, it's a personification of like the inspiration of an artist.
Yes.
It's usually a woman,
Mm.
but it might not be. And it's also, I mean, a lot of poetry and stuff, which is written about love, is actually love for the muse rather than for a specific woman.
Yeah, that's part of it. I was gonna add one part, and I think you also know this too. Is that because I might not have phrased my question not correctly, but well enough. Is that the muse is also the thing inside you that connects you to the creativity itself. So
Mhm.
it is what makes you be able to see these other things, these worlds. Like if we take, for example, like we both know this guy and both like this guy, Omarvin. You know the guy who does the Attack on Titan. Well, he
Yes,
did
yes.
the Attack on Titan artworks, but he does Chainsaw Man too. He
Mhm.
when so for him a muse would be whatever connects him to one see, what character from whatever he's writing, and then what they're doing. Like that's the muse. It's what yeah, as you said, so it's just a thing I'm adding to your description. Really, is that it is the thing that makes you be able to look into the imagination where yeah, and I don't, and if you don't have that, or that you don't have a strong enough connection to it, it gets really hard to create like art because even when I'm prompting just for fun, I mean it's hard for me unless I have a direction because
Yes.
my tool for the muse or whatever has always been the written word. It has never been the visual. Although I like doing the visuals, it's more fun for me to sit down and write.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense. And I mean, yeah, I'd say it's probably the same to me. I can sort of do stuff like without uh, writing first, but it's slower. And so I've always been trying to write first, and after I have it written, then it's easy to go from there. Because writing, I guess, because I'm not sure about you, but I've been in my computer like most of my life, and it's like second nature, right? You just think and your fingers move, and after 10 seconds pass, you have something written, and it's really effortless. So I guess it's probably a problem of whatever is easiest, and for me, it's writing.
Yeah, no, I see a point because it's sort of what Stephen King, how he explains writing in his. This is more how he explained it in the Dark Tower series. He explains is that as whatever I'm writing, when I'm so deep in it, I think and I see it appear on screen. So he's not even when he's so deep in trance in the when he's writing, he doesn't even feel his own fingers move over the keyboard, and that's the same for me too. When I go really, really deep into it, then I don't feel it either. It's just there on the screen. But also, the thing is, like I've also like had a lot of training, like bringing the not. I mean, debating with people online, keyboard things. That's one thing, but like sit down and like write and explain the things you're seeing. It's and then you always have to accept that you can never explain it well enough. Like you can just give people the tools to see it, and then you also have to realize that they will never see what you're seeing.
Yeah, and you realize that you don't know the name of half of the things in your surrounding.
What do you mean?
I mean, like you want to write something that you do, and then you realize that there's like, I'm not sure, a piece of furniture you don't know the name of, so you can't describe it. So you have to fucking learn the name of it. And so that's how I mean that you can't describe what's in your environment. You actually don't know the name of many things around you.
Oh yeah, that's true in a sense. Or I'm not really sure I know what you mean, but is it more that you don't know? What is it that you don't have the word for it in your head, or is it that you don't know the word of it in English, or
no?
Or
you don't know the. I mean, you don't know even in your native language sometimes. Like most things we like go by with their not with their proper name, but with something familiar, but it's not specific.
Are you talking about feelings?
No, I mean, sure, that might also be the case, but I'm talking about objects right now.
Okay.
Because people don't realize, but a lot of the stuff that we use in our day-to-day has a proper name, and then we use something that's similar, but it's not quite the thing we actually are pointing at.
Can you give me an example?
Of an example?
Yeah, oh yeah, okay, you're right. Okay.
No. I'm looking around and seeing if I can see something that's fuck.
I mean,
it's difficult.
I mean, yeah, just to be clear here, the man behind you asking you for money is a drug dealer. We're both on the same page there, right?
The man behind you asking you for money is a drug dealer?
Yes. We're both. So that's an easy way to explain something.
I mean, see, that's an issue because you're just making up a story now, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say yes just because you're making up a story, or if I should point out that maybe he's not a drug dealer.
True. No, what I wanted to say too, to build on this, that when I started learning English, as you know, in Sweden we start to learn it when we're 6 years old, and when I was 9, my English teacher, every time I didn't know a word in English, I would ask her, and then she said to me, "Oh, if you don't know what it is, what the name of it is, just explain it." And I hated that so much as a kid. I was so annoyed, and I was like, just tell me the word. I was so annoyed, but now I'm actually really happy she did that, because now when I'm writing and I forget what a word is called, I just explain it instead. So, I hated her then, but now it's like, okay, fine, she was based. She knew what she was doing.
I'm not so sure. I feel like she should have told you. Especially because children, I mean, I'm not sure how old you were, but children learn...
Like 9?
Yeah, children learn words and, like, remember them way better than adults, so... I mean... It's better to teach them young.
Yeah, to be fair, she might have just seen something in me. She was like, this guy, this one guy. I'm gonna be an asshole to him. No, I was just kidding. But to be fair, I remember like I had to skip a grade in English because I was so good at it. In because I think usually you're supposed to learn English in because we have preschool and then first grade, second grade, etc. And you're supposed to start learning English in first grade. But our teacher taught us, started teaching us English in first grade. So I think that's also like why I had to skip a grade for English and stuff.
I see. Do you never? That's weird because I'm pretty sure that what I've described is actually kind of common. So I mean, it's kind of interesting to hear that you don't have the same problem of trying to describe a scene and realizing that you don't know the name of many of the objects that you would have in it.
I mean, I can explain everything I see, but I feel there's a disconnect here somewhere because right next to me there's a lamp, there's a socket, there's a charger, there's a mouse mat thingy. Actually, okay, right there. Okay, there's one. I don't know what is it. Mouse mat? Is that what it's called? The thing you drag your mouse over?
Yes, it's a mat. I'm not sure if it's a mouse mat.
Okay, cool. And then I have a T-shirt on top of my cupboard, and the cupboard has 2 doors. Right next to it, I have a there it is, a coat hanger, and on the coat hanger there's a T-shirt, and right next to it there's screens, and then there's a door. And then I can name everything in my room, or the room I'm in. It's not technically my room, because as I said, I'm moving out. I'm going to Japan,
yes. So you're just gonna stay in the fucking countryside for like 2 days, and then you're gonna move to Japan?
No, I'm staying here. I leave in September, but I have to wait. I will see how much money I have left after I paid the plane ticket, and then I will start seeing, okay, should I move out earlier and something? Because I might do that actually. But getting like a place to stay now when it's summer here, it's pretty hard. So we will see.
I see.
Yeah, I mean, I could go to Brazil, right, and get killed immediately. So
It's cold, so the drug dealers are all inside.
Oh yeah, that's good. Then they won't even rob me.
I'm kidding, by the way.
I know. They will
like protective coating against the cold. They still wear Havaianas, and which are our brand of flip flops, and go shirtless even in the cold.
Really? Okay, that's so sorry, but that's so fucking gay. But
yes,
I mean, at least you can spot them.
Compromise their style,
Actually, like where you are right now, and again, don't reveal too much, so But do you guys have drug dealers in the place you're in now? Like, can you see like, oh yeah, there he or she is? Like, can you just spot them?
No. I mean, they exist, but not commonly, and usually they come from different cities and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's interesting, like how. I mean, because here in Sweden we obviously have drug dealers too. Like they exist everywhere on the planet, and then it's like it was so weird because they were. I don't. No. It's like this, right? Because there is, and this is like just what is it like? Our chief of police has said this himself that there are people who are not Swedish who come outside and they come to Sweden just to commit crime, like to sell drugs and stuff. And they are usually not, blonde and white. And even saying something like this, like, can get you to trouble, but everyone knows it's true, and like the police chief has said it himself. Now, if he hasn't, maybe he didn't put it that way completely, but like that's what it means. So It's always interesting, like, because what happened was that the drug dealers in the bad parts are like usually not from Sweden, like. But what was so surprising to everyone is that when they caught the drug dealer selling the drugs in the posher parts, like the really posh parts, and if it's posh in Sweden, that means it's like probably one of the 1% in the world. So this is a very posh place. Even he was not Swedish. Like he was like from the Middle East. But the thing about him was that he was dressed in a really nice suit and everything. So it was like he has upgraded. It was, I don't know why I found it so weird. And a lot of Swedish people talked about this for a long time, and no one knows why. We talked about it for so long, but it was like a cultural thing all over the country that like, what the fuck? He's still Arabic or like from the Middle East, but he looks like you know rich. I don't know why I found it so weird, but I don't know.
Swedes are they're too bottom to be able to take dangerous ventures such as drug dealing.
I
So they
mean,
leave it to the alpha males of Arabia.
exactly right. I think it's more to the
Yes.
tune of that there are over him. There are Swedish people. You just never see them, and if the police come too close, I mean that is just like a then. Oh yeah, we stopped looking into it because the thing is like corruption in Sweden. It obviously it
On top
exists
of those
somewhere.
Swedish people, there's even more Arabia people.
Exactly
More.
right. All of them. No, but seriously though, like the thing is, like in Sweden, we have done a really good job at, from where I'm standing, rooting out corruption. It's coming back now, sadly, but let's say for at least the last up until now, on middle part, like the middle class and the lower class, there was not that much corruption. I mean, there was, but not that much. But and then even upper class, there wasn't that much corruption. But when you go like higher upper class, it's all corrupt. Like every fucking one is corrupt. Like it's so. I just realized that now when I
When
was
you
talking
say
to you.
corrupt, like how do you mean exactly? Like what's corrupt? What's
I mean, okay, there's a
do you mean like criminals? Do you mean like fraud? Do you mean like what?
yeah, white collar crime essentially. White collar
So you
crime.
mean like people I don't know what the word is. Fuck. Like taking money that's supposed to go to a place and like pocketing it?
Yeah, things like that. Sure. And then also like they skirt away around laws and stuff like that, because they know the right people.
But like I mean the, the easy way to like explain this would be, well, people who are not at the top of society don't get the chance to be corrupt, and so they're not corrupt. But it's
Exactly.
not due to higher moral virtue; it's due to
No, I
lack
wasn't doing
of
that. Yeah, I wasn't doing that.
opportunity.
Yeah, I wasn't doing like that claim that, oh yeah, it's because we are much more moral society or anything. It's more
No,
like
no,
to
yes,
say.
yes. I'm just saying that the you posed it as if it's a question as to why the people at the top are
Oh,
corrupt
okay.
and the people at the bottom aren't, and then just giving an explanation as to why that might be.
Oh yeah, no, sure. Because I mean, what you're saying is, yeah, probably how it is too. I mean, or how it is like, because also there's the next thing, like the grind you have to do to go from upper class to upper class, like from upper class to super wealthy. It's a grind that's like it's hell. Like I've heard some of the people doing it, and like my father knows some. He knows some of those people who are like really rich and stuff, like Swedish people. Like I know international people who are really rich. I don't know that many Swedish people who are super rich, but my dad does. And like the days they have, I mean, it's essentially like the thing Jordan Peterson says, right? About why when people always ask him, oh yeah, why aren't there more women in these CEO positions? And then he
Yes.
starts talking about, oh well, if you're a male CEO, you have to do this, and it's like so true for these people because
Yes.
because I mean, just their lives seem to suck. But I mean, to them it might be super interesting, and like I can't blame them. I mean, if you find, that lifestyle super interesting and super giving, like sure, go for it. But
I
it
think if
is.
you have the energy for it, I feel
Mm,
like it's a blessing to have a life like that. But you need,
mm,
like, you can't give yourself the energy to have it, right? Unless you fucking, you use like hormone replacement therapy
exactly.
and cocaine, then you might be able to give yourself the energy. But otherwise, you just have to, like, people would not be able to live the life that, for example, Jordan Peterson lives, because he sleeps like 4 hours and then works for 18, right?
Yeah, something like this. Yeah. No, I mean, I. The thing is, like, for me, it's like so uneven how many hours I work. So now, since I'm in the writing stage, I'm not rendering or doing any art right at the moment. Then it's like low, sort of maybe 1 or 2 hours more than a normal work week, or like a normal work day, I should say, for the average person. But when I am done writing and I'm starting to render and do, then it's like insane. Like how many hours a day I work is insane. So it just depends, right? So I can do it too. Like except the 4 hours of sleep that I could never do. I need like at least 6 to function.
Yeah,
But
you
then
could always try the miracle drug.
a bit, yeah,
Um,
I don't, yeah.
I mentioned it to you, but I mentioned, and you thought it was cocaine, and
Mm,
makes sense, but it isn't actually.
what is it?
Um, it's a peptide called MK667, and it basically makes your body produce the growth hormone, like GH, in
Okay,
case you heard of it.
no.
Yeah, so it does a lot of stuff, but one of the things that it does is it makes you have hunger, it makes you feel sleepy, and it helps with body recomposition. So when you're losing weight, it helps uh, break down fat and build muscle, which is
Okay.
what I bought it for. But one thing I discovered, and I thought I discovered at least, is that when I started taking it, suddenly I was sleeping, because I've told you before, right? I sleep for like 10 hours every day.
Mm,
And it's not like it's a big problem, but it's a lot of time, right? It would be great if I could sleep less and still feel rested.
mm,
And when I started taking it, all of a sudden I began to sleep for 5 hours and feel rested.
mm-hmm.
But that was like last week. Unfortunately, I kept taking it and I realized that I was feeling sleepy all the time. And not
Oh,
only did I go back to sleeping for like 10 hours, but like I would like wake up after 10 hours, have lunch, and then go back to bed and sleep another 6 hours.
oh shit.
So, yes. So I basically stopped taking it for now because, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's actually like, it helped my
Worse.
skin. Yes, it helped my skin. It did what it promised, but I can't take it right now because otherwise I would have to like overdose on caffeine just to be able to stay awake, and that's not something I wanna try doing it. So
Oh damn. Okay. Yeah, yeah, no,
yeah,
it's yeah, that doesn't
but
sound too good.
it's really cool. It's really cool because I was eating a little more than usual, and I was not gaining weight, which is one of the benefits of it, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
um, it sort of redirects nutrients from fat to muscle, which is
Okay.
why like bodybuilders take growth hormone,
Mm,
so they can eat more and not worry about gaining fat.
mm. Yeah, yeah. No, I just never really touched. I mean, how do I say? I mean, I dabbled in drugs. Let's just say that, but I don't do it regularly, and I haven't for a very long time. And even when I was dabbling in it, it wasn't regularly. It was just like, oh yeah, this is a fun thing to try once, and then I never did it again. Because I mean, to me, it never helped me in any way, shape, or form. It just never did. I mean, but then again, I smoke cigarettes and take caffeine, and that's also drugs, you know. So, I mean,
Yes.
who am I to talk at the end of it? So that's why I don't really judge people who take drugs, unless it's something really retarded. Then I will judge you. But you know,
I mean, I wouldn't even consider it a drug because it's a peptide, and a peptide is essentially like a protein.
Mhm.
What it does is, like, when you feel hunger, what causes hunger in your body is something called ghrelin, and this peptide is essentially an analog of ghrelin. So it
Mhm.
makes your body think you have ghrelin when you take it. And what it does is it makes your own gland produce the growth hormone. So you're not taking a drug essentially. What you're doing is you're making your body think that you have a drug in you, and your body
Mhm.
is secreting growth hormone in response to it. So that's how it works. And I mean, I stopped taking it, but I will take it again once I am done losing weight because this stuff is. I mean, I described the what it does to you, but it's better for when you're trying to gain muscle rather than when you're trying to lose weight because it also causes you to retain water, like water retention.
Mhm.
And
So you go to the bathroom all the
if you're
time.
trying, no, it causes you to like you're basically holding water in your body.
Mm.
So you're like I guess flabby might be one way to look at it.
Okay.
Um, yes, and it shows in the scale, right? When you're like that, so it's not very good when you're trying to lose weight. So I stopped taking it, and I'm gonna come back to it after I am done losing weight because it's not very useful to me right now.
So how much have you lost so far, if you don't mind me asking?
I've lost like 37 kilos,
That's really good, man.
but thank you. Um, but I'm still like quite a bit away from my goal, which is
Well,
like like uh, 22 kilos left still, something like that.
okay, so yeah, because you know, in my mind, because as you know, me and my dad, we started sort of losing weight at the same time, and since we're about the same height, it's much easier for me
Mm-hmm.
to picture my father and then like someone saying, "Oh yeah, this is the weight I want to be in." So, how tall are you again in centimeters?
180.
Okay, so you are about. If we stood next to each other, it depends if you listen to Jordan Peterson's advice about your shoulders straight and head up back. But if you stand like a gamer, then I would look very tall next to you. Let's just say that. But if you do the Jordan
Mm-hmm.
Peterson thing, okay, I have to think. Actually, let me actually stand up in my room to see. So, okay, so you're that tall. No, you would have to look up at me. You would have to arch your neck a little. I just realized that to look up at me, and I would have to look down on you. I just realized that. That's funny. I mean, not for you, but to me, it's hilarious. But okay, I sound
Mm-hmm.
so fucking mean. No, 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 I know. It's so weird because I told you that you remind me a lot of of a friend I had in Australia, or like from my side at least, we're still friends. To be that guy. So now when I think of him, okay, yeah, then it's easier for me to picture how you look, like in terms of. So, what weight do you then want to hit when you're like, okay, this is cool, this is a good weight?
I mean, it depends a lot, but right now I'm trying to hit 75 kilos.
75. Okay,
Yeah.
that like, no offense, but you must have been really big. 37 kilos
Yeah.
ago. Fuck. How
Yeah.
how how long did it take for you to lose that?
I actually don't know exactly because I haven't been counting in terms of dates, but uh, I mean, I'm just gonna guess like 6 months, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I mean, if you were that big, because I'm thinking, because you said 75 is good, and I'm like 75
Yes,
is the lower.
75 is goal.
Yeah, and I was like 75 is a goal for me, and the reason it's a goal for me is because the app I'm using to count all my calories and stuff has said, don't go past 75. It's fucking dangerous for you, you fucking retard. That's what it said. It tells me. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, no, wait. I lied. It's not 75 that's too dangerous for me. It's below 72.5. That's when it gets dangerous for me. So for you, 75, that's like skin and bones shit.
I mean, not really. It's. I mean, it is a little, but.
I mean, if you want, don't let me. Hey man, don't let me stop you, man. If you want to say I want to get down to 30 kilos, don't let me stop you, man. I will be there. I will be there.
I'm sure that I could go to 65 without issue, and I'm probably going to go below 75, at least for like a couple of weeks.
No. You know what? I realized that I'm a fucking retard. I thought the other way around. Since you're tinier than me. Yes, exactly. Now it makes sense now. Sorry, continue. I realized I was being a retard. Yes. Continue.
Yes. You would be at 75 way thinner than I would be at 75 because there's... it's just fucking volume.
Yeah, it's height, yeah.
Like, yes, it's volume. More precisely. But yes, and I also have a bit of muscle, which I hope I don't lose everything when I'm losing weight, but we'll see how that goes. Because I've been progressing in the gym for like several months now, and I haven't stopped progressing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I might.
I don't know. I'm probably gonna lose a lot of it, and then I'm gonna regain it because it's easier to regain it than to not lose it when it comes to muscle.
Yeah, okay, you were talking about muscles. I was thinking you were talking about fat, which we both hope doesn't happen. Because I remember... No, because the last month I probably gained weight because of all the moving and stuff and like just insanity. But now it's good again because since as I told you, like I live so far off, so I don't have access to my mocha latte. And that's like... Because usually what I would eat during a day...
Half of your calories, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I still lost weight because I refused to eat anything. Like, I am the picky kid that wouldn't eat anything as a kid. That's me as an adult. I fucking refuse. If it's something disgusting, I refuse to eat it. I just fucking refuse to eat it. Like, why would I? So, the reason I was able to lose weight was because someone because I figured out that no, you don't have to eat shitty things to lose weight. You can just not eat. That's fine. I was like, okay, let's do that then. So I would rather just not eat than eat some fucking disgusting yogurt with some disgusting broccoli or something. Like I would rather just be hungry.
Swedish kid discovers fasting.
Yes. Exactly.
Yes.
That's essentially that's a meme. Yes.
You can just not eat? Click here to learn how.
No, but do you know what it is? It's like these things that are like, no, if you don't eat, you will lose weight slower or something like that. And no, it's dangerous for you. So I bought into that meme.
Yes.
And then I realized that meme is wrong. Or like it's not entirely wrong. I mean, okay, yeah.
It's pretty fucking wrong. Like, starvation mode doesn't exist, essentially. The issue is if you actually eat very little, then that's an issue. But not eating at all is not an issue, as long as you drink water and you don't go, above 3 days, unless you also take electrolytes.
Yeah, I mean, technically, because I remember before, because how I started losing weight before I went to Australia, some years ago. That's some years ago now. And then I learned some basics. And then when I went into Australia, I gained weight. And then I lost weight when I came back. Then Corona hit and I got a lot of weight. And then I got into this size that is the smallest I've ever been. And my point of all this is that...
me asking, would you be willing to say how much you're weighing right now?
That's the thing. We have packed down the scale. But if I would gun to my head, I would be between 85 kilos and 90. Gun to my head. But I don't think I surpassed 90. If I surpassed 90, I would be crying like a little bitch. So if I go to the scale and it says 91, No, no, I can't be 91 because then my clothes wouldn't fit. So I would say it's closer to 85 than it is 90. But if it is 80, I don't think it's past 85. Let's say that.
Mm.
And I'm
I
100.
mean,
What do you say?
that's pretty good, right? Compared to how you were before.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I used to be 120 kilos.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I swear to God that someone switched their thing that, like, oh, it's just past 120 kilos that it's obese. But fucking hell, like, when I compare myself, it's like, ah, Jesus, like, it's, yeah, night and day, man. It's crazy to see how, because as I said, like, I just have accepted that I have, like, yeah, body dysmorphia, and I will have body dysmorphia for a very long time. Because
Mhm.
it feels, I don't know anymore, like, like, how one should look. But that doesn't mean I'm like a retard, because body dysmorphia, I feel, I mean, you have these like really skinny people, or really, let's go with the really skinny people because that's the one most people know. Like the really skinny people, they will, even if they look at a scale or if they look at the height chart and people say, "Yeah, you're in a good weight," they still won't believe them. Whereas I will, like, So I know at 187 centimeters, and if I'm gonna be very generous here, between at my height, and if I was between 80 and 90 kilos, that's generally fine. Sure, you should probably start aiming always down towards 80, I would presume. But like if I just keep be 80 and not between 80 and 90, it's fine. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
I
think
mean, losing
I
weight
might be wrong.
is really, really good to you. Like,
Mm.
there's by basically every metric, you're healthier when you're losing weight.
Mm.
Unless you're already at the lower end. Like, I mean, I can feel it, just walking around. I can tell the difference because when you're heavy as fuck, like your body doesn't want to move because it's actually a pain to move.
Mm.
Like your back hurts, your knees hurt, your legs don't want to keep you moving. Um, you're out of breath all the time. It's very annoying. But I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty fucking sure that if I had to walk 24 hours right now, I could. Like, not joking. And I mean, I'm not sure if there was another time in my life where I felt like that. So, it's just, I mean, like fucking living is easier when you're thinner. So,
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. I agree with those things. Like, but because I've always been a walker, I've never really felt that thing. The only thing, there's two things that I've noticed, and that is that I don't breathe as much into the mic when we talk, and or when I talk to people on Discord. And the second thing is like when I lay down, I can feel my ribs and my
yeah.
bones. That I can't feel. I was like, oh, shit, I can feel bones. That's so amazing.
That doesn't sound good though. Isn't it uncomfortable?
No, 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 like I can feel bones like if I put my hands on my sides. So it's not like, so I have to actually feel for the bones. So it's not like,
Yeah, I know. Let's see. One thing that I don't like about being quote unquote thin, I'm not thin by the way, I'm still fat, but when I lay down on my side, like my knees touch each other. Before, my thighs were large enough that they stopped my knees from touching, but now they touch and it's uncomfortable.
Man, I sleep very autistic Asperger like. I just lay down on my back and an arm across my eyes and I just completely out.
I
Every
can't. I can't. I used to, but I like when I was a teenager, I began having nightmares every time I slept with my belly up. So I
Mhm.
had to stop, and then I started sleeping on my sides or on my belly because otherwise, I would just. I mean, I can have night terrors. It's
Mm.
not just a nightmare. So I really can't. But I mean, every time I see people talking about like sleep health and stuff, they say that the healthier way to sleep is like you're saying, belly up. I wish I could.
But isn't it possible, like, 'cause this is what I heard, right? If you sleep on your, like, not on your belly, but on your back, like, and you had your arm, I don't know if you did the arm over your eyes, and then as you were drifting
I used to.
but let's say you did that, right? What could have happened because of night terrors is that when you removed the arm and opened your eyes, you realized you were still in Brazil. And that's horrible, man. That's the worst nightmare I can think of, man. You just open like, no, I'm still here.
Please bring me back to the nightmare dimension. I want to be in Brazil.
Fuck, I want to go back to that thing Sam Neill goes to in fucking, what is that fucking space terror movie? I don't know if you ever seen it, but it's like
I don't think so.
Quantum something. It's really good, actually. I know you don't watch horror movies, but it's one of the better space horrors. It's a little, what is it called? Like a little, how to say, gratifyingly, what is torture porn? It has an element of it that's a little uncomfortable because it's like a little too much, you know, a little so almost like the sequels to Saw, you know, that way.
Yes.
And but it's a little like the rest of the movie is fine. But yeah, but when it comes to actually, this is something I wanted to bring up too when we were talking about these weight things. Is that I was, as you know, I consume a lot of fucking drama online because it's like it's so real. It's because it's like it's so amazing to me. Like it's, how do I say, when I say it's so real, it's like this is like people's lives online, and they're treating it like a game. It's so insane to me. But anyway, and part of this was this guy that I know you're not on Twitter, so I'm not gonna bother you with the whole thing that happened. But anyway, there was a guy who was talking all high and mighty, you know, the whole red pill Andrew Tate, and then people found out that he was kind of a, you know, like he was a weakling essentially. And my point here was this, that he was doing a liposuction, and that's why he was critiqued so heavily. If he was like an Andrew Tate fan, why would he get a liposuction? Why not hit the gym? But I was like, you know, oh, maybe it's because, you know, it was a lot of weight or something like this. So I thought maybe did that
localized, right? Because some people have trouble losing weight in a certain part of the body, so they use liposuctions.
Yeah, I've heard of this, and it is possible. Like, I'm not saying that's not the case. I'm sure that this could have been the case, but the point here was that I thought that, okay, it's maybe like 10 kilos or something he's doing liposuction for, but it wasn't. It was like 3 kilos. And I'm like...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if you can do it for a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, now when you say it, I realized that too, and then I was like, but it's just 3 kilos. I mean, if you want to lose 3 kilos, you can just not eat for a month. Or be very, how to say, just eat green stuff for a month. Like, you know, I mean, sure, you will have like maybe some stomach, you know, we both know what I mean when I say that.
You can have a surgery and then still eat. How about that?
Oh, man. Or you can cut off your foot. There you go. 3 kilos off.
Whoa, you have a heavy foot, dude.
Exactly right. No, but yeah, it was just so insane to me. I was like so shocked. I was like 3 kilos, like because that's not because right now it's like after 10 kilos I have reached my goal. It's fine for me then, and I know I'm gonna reach it, so it's fine. But I wanted to close off on one question here because I was thinking about this on my morning walk, and I wanted to hear your opinion on this. It's a very out there question, but let's say that...
I feel like some bullshit is coming. Go ahead.
What did you say?
I feel like some bullshit is coming.
Yeah, to you it's gonna be bullshit. But
okay,
let's say you're just out walking, you know, the streets of, you know, Brazil, or you know, and you know, on the road, just as you're walking, like, and you have to get past. This is the only road you can walk, right? You see the devil.
Oh.
And the devil wants to eat you, or something like this, right? He wants to really harm you.
Okay.
How do you escape?
I do a 360 spin and I moonwalk away.
Got you. But with your 360 moons walk away, he's just gonna be in the other direction, still moving towards you. Haven't you watched The Grudge?
I'm not sure that, like, what do I do? Probably pray to God and close my eyes and fucking run. Like, what the fuck do I do against the devil? Like, if it was in my power to defeat the devil, then it would be in my power to do anything.
True. Well, that's a thing, right? I just realized it's when I was asking the question, right? That it feels like if I started giving you parameters, more parameters, because now I gave you a very vague one, right? I said, okay, on a road you meet the devil, but let's say I say something like this: you're in an army fucking building and you meet the devil. Then all of a sudden something tells me that you're gonna say something like, "Oh yeah, we'll pick up a gun and shoot the devil and stuff." And if I
I don't think I'm gonna fucking. I mean, if I know it's the devil, I will know that the gun's not gonna do anything.
wait, you wouldn't even try.
I mean, why would I? Well, I'm just gonna make it matter. I mean, if the devil hasn't seen me, I would just fucking hide. If he has seen me, I'd just run. But I mean, if it's an army building, maybe there's a fucking car, and then like maybe I can run faster in a car. Like, wow. What's a gun gonna do with the fucking primeval evil?
My point of all of this is that it's interesting that when, because I was listening to Jordan Peterson has been talking about this along, not the devil example, but he has been talking about how unlimited freedom in the end.
Sorry, I'm gonna change minds. I'm gonna call Jordan Peterson because Jordan Peterson said he had a dream in which he fought the devil and he won. So I'd call him, and then I wouldn't have to worry about the devil.
Oh yeah, that's true, man. Based Jordan Peterson, he is literally Saint Michael incarnate.
Yes.
No, but anyway, my point here is that because I realize he's now talking to that there is something here, and it's very basic, not really thought out, but it's something to be said, like to build on that what Jordan Peterson said, right? That unlimited freedom is not necessarily good, and it's probably not good because if you don't have limits to your freedom, then you can't really, you have no structure, you have nothing essentially. So it's just interesting to me that if I just say to someone, like for example you now, you meet the devil on the side of a road, like what do? And you're like, just either run or fucking die. But if I change certain things, like even though in the first example I'd never said, oh yeah, you're in a parking lot. I just said you're on the side of the road. I never said you're not outside a police station. You're not outside. So I think
I never said that you're not carrying a gun in your backpack.
I never said that you have Saint Michael literally on speed dial. Like you actually have a phone with his number that you can just call and he just beams down immediately and has an epic battle.
It's too bad that you tried to use the gun and you died.
Yeah, like you had the phone the whole time. You didn't use the phone. Like when you die, like when the devil makes you his bitch and like and you die, God will just laugh at you and like, why did you use the phone, bro? I gave you a phone for a reason.
Yes, Saint Michael was just waiting, dude.
Yeah, he's really upset actually.
Just click the button.
And he can just beam down immediately. So I just see like fucking.
Yes, you can frame the answer by providing additional context to the question for sure.
Yeah. No, it's just interesting that I don't know. It's not really thought out from my part. I realized that now when I was talking to you about it because it feels like it's just interesting that because I'm not saying this as like a criticism of you. It's more a criticism of the whole. That like because if I had gotten that question, I'm not saying I wouldn't have responded the same way. It's just it feels to me that if I give people limits, then all of a sudden they have all these ideas. But if I don't give them the limits, they have no ideas.
Yes.
And that's again, that's nothing against you personally. It's just I mean, if I just got this question at a random, I'm not saying I would have answered the same way.
It's actually in favor of me because I actually gave the same answer regardless of whether it was the side of the road or if it was in a building.
That's true too, yeah.
I said I was gonna run regardless because what the fuck is a gun gonna do?
Yeah, but then that also brings in the question, like, how do you know it's a devil? And
if you said, for example, oh, you're walking by a church and you see the devil on the other side, then maybe I would say, well, okay, I'm gonna try walking to the church. So maybe the devil can't enter the church. No, let's say common sense from a theological perspective, but I am not so sure if like because it's the fucking devil, right? Well, why wouldn't you use something that's a little bit more mundane, or like I don't know, I'm not sure, like a hitman or something, then a gun would be useful. Yes, like something that, I mean, mundane in the sense that the parameters of their, like, you can actually foresee what they're gonna do.
Okay, fine.
You've never dealt with one.
Fine.
The devil.
You meet
the devil can teleport, right?
I mean, okay, fine. You meet this hitman on the side of the road, Dio. What do you do? What do you do?
I run.
You're such a fucking retard. I fucking hate you. You're so fucking retarded.
Okay, but if I'm in the army building, then I shoot him.
Oh, bad luck, dude. Bad luck. The hitman was possessed by the devil. You lose anyway. Sorry.
I see. Damn.
You fucking lost, man. The devil gets you every time. Like fucking. But seriously though, like. No, but it's just the reason is.
You'd be a terrible dungeon master, by the way.
What do you say?
You'd be a terrible dungeon master.
People say this to me all the time, and I reject that because people think I will do these things as a dungeon master. Like, I'm actually a really good writer. Like, I know I am. The thing is that what I would do is just do it much more slower, right? Build up the thing. But I mean, obviously, you don't do the devil immediately. You do some lesser villain first, like a goblin or something.
I mean, I still feel like you would troll people. So
yeah, I would. Of course, I would. That's what else is fun. But I wouldn't do it in a way where it's like impossible for them to lose. Obviously, because I feel if I would have done the devil thing, I would actually have done the devil thing in a Dungeon and Dragon thingy. What I would have done before is to give people lore and tidbits and even certain events to train them in order to use them on the devil, right? Because there are two ways. There are many ways, like in lore and culture, where people have beaten the devil. The first most important thing, I mean, if you just look at lore, fucking, essentially, anime and manga for the old people far back. So, what they would say something like, oh, never speak to the devil, never look the devil in the eye, never let the devil know that you know it's the devil, which is, that one always kind of confused me, because it's like, if you know it's the devil, surely he knows that you know it's the devil, like, I mean, and stuff like that. But and then
the devil is not very good at telling human emotion apart.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Weird, because he's like the father of lies and stuff.
True. And then you have, because I've been thinking, like, if I know any, no, because like from where I grew up and the Swedish stories, we have like stories about, I mean, I've heard someone say like, oh yeah, the devil or something, but we didn't have that many stories about possession or things like that. It's usually about trolls and elves fairies and tomtar gnomes, and then stuff like this, and sometimes about werewolves or huldran, like things like this. Like we don't really get stories about like the devil. That's newer. Like I have never heard like a Swedish story about someone meeting the devil.
I haven't heard many from here as well. I've heard one in the internet, but I don't remember it exactly. I remember that it's a girl who dances with the devil and tricks the devil.
Mm. Yeah, no, actually, there is one, but that is it's something to the tune of that I don't remember where it was, but it is like reported, like a thing that did happen. It's sort of what happens is that there's a man that arrives in town who plays the flute, and he plays it so well the people start dancing, and then the priests come out and start saying, "Hey, it's Sabbath, like Sunday. Don't dance. It goes against the Lord." But they keep dancing, and then when they
just so
try,
you know, Sabbath is actually Saturday.
Yes.
Sunday is the Lord's Day. It's not the same day.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Learn something new. So anyway, but yeah, it was the Lord's Day then. It was Sunday, and so he tells them, "Oh yeah, you can't dance. It's Sunday," but they keep dancing, and then they continue dancing and start sweating and being thirsty. And they can't stop dancing, and then the stranger playing the flute smiles and take off his hat, and he has horns, like the hat is covering the horns, and then it's said that the only thing that remains of the people in that town that danced are the bones, because they just danced until the only thing that was left on them was the bones. But there was reports of a mass hysteria going on long, like 400 years ago or something like this in Europe, about people just starting to dance.
Yes, it actually happened multiple times. And
oh, okay, that I didn't know.
Yes, and it's crazy with the stuff that happened, because people dance for fucking hours, and some people would literally pass out, stay asleep, and then wake up and then go back to dancing, and they wouldn't do anything while they're dancing, and they would talk with fear and stuff while they're dancing, and they didn't know what they were doing essentially.
They would talk in fear?
Yes.
Okay.
They couldn't explain themselves to other people who were nearby.
Okay, I see. Okay.
There's multiple. Yeah, this is not like a local legend. That there's multiple reports of this happening.
Yeah, this I know.
So
I know.
It's like a historical event that people do not have an explanation for.
No, we have. It's a devil.
Yes, we do not have a scientific consensus about the explanation. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I know. That I do know, that they can't explain it and stuff. But it's mass hysteria. That's all. That's the thing.
Hysteria is just bullshit. It's I don't understand what's going on. Let's call it something that sounds vaguely fucking psychological, so that it seems as if I know what I'm talking about. But it's not. Oh, yes. Multiple people suddenly had a fucking dream. Yeah, very fucking explanatory. It's not. Mass hysteria is bullshit. Whenever a fucking scientist says mass hysteria, they're fucking lying.
But have you considered if they met a hitman on the side of the road?
I don't think that dancing is gonna scare the hitman.
They maybe should have tried running away. Anyway, the thing is that the thing is I think
not that I do cardio, dude.
Yeah,
running away is easy.
Yeah. The thing is I do think mass hysteria could potentially be a thing, or I do think it's a thing, but it's
You know
just
mass hysteria?
What?
The trans epidemic.
That yes, I've heard the argument. But what I was gonna say about mass hysteria is this: that I've read it in a book. This wasn't like a scientific book. It was this World War C. Have you read the book?
No.
In it, they
I have heard about it a lot, but go ahead.
anyway. The point of it, like a part, sorry, the point of a certain part in it is to explain how people, yeah, sort of go into mass hysteria or, do weird things. And it's someone who
Mhm.
explains. He starts up by explaining. Okay, let's say that you stand in front of a door and wait there, and then you go. Someone else comes behind you. You have two people, right? So you stand in front of a door, and then your friend stands behind you. Sooner or later, other people will start to, add up on the queue behind you, even though you're not
Yes.
lining up for anything. And
You
then
can
it
also stand in the middle of the street and try to look up in the sky like you're seeing something, and people are gonna stop by and they're gonna copy you, and soon there's gonna be a crowd looking up in the sky.
yes, and then you have and then he goes further in this and starts talking about how during World War II in Norway, there were people who joined the Nazis, even though it made no sense, because the what he was trying to, the author was trying to make the point, or with the whole world, with that part of World War C, was that people who don't feel that they fit in anywhere tend to go to the evil side, sort of. So the point of it was that in World War C, you had
Which is
these.
why every autist is a fucking rightist.
What did you say?
Which is why every autist is a fucking rightist.
Is that right? What did you say? What?
Rightist. Like from
Oh,
the
yeah.
right.
That's why all the autists are rightoids. I get what you're saying.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Rightoids you get, just not rightists. Like the actual word you don't understand, but the slur.
the slang,
Yeah,
the
sure.
slur, yes, the slur. I'm very familiar with the slurs, all of them,
Yes, I'm sorry.
because I get called them all the time because I'm a gypsy. Okay.
Yes.
Did you check your Did you check your
Under the
pockets, by the way?
hood,
Did you check
I
them?
have nothing there.
Of course not, because I took it.
Yes.
Anyway, the point here being that in this World War C, like, you have these people who have these meltdowns and become zombies, quote unquote. But they're not zombies, they just pretend to be. Their mind breaks because of this zombie outbreak, that they pretend to be zombies. But
Oh, that's actually kind of a cool idea.
yeah, it is a really cool idea. That book is probably, I would I would put it on my top 10, but low on my top 10. Not because of the
Did you know
zombie things,
uh,
but the psychological things
after
behind it too.
Tolkien finished Lord of the Rings, he actually thought about making a continuation,
Yes.
and in the continuation, he was going to write about people dressing up as orcs and like admiring the orcs,
Oh, that's interesting.
like
That part I did not know.
like teenagers admiring the orcs, like to be rebellious against their parents, essentially.
Mm. Yeah, no. He said about it that they interviewed, or either it wasn't a letter or an interview. He said that I could have written a very good thriller, but it would have been nothing. He was just like, nah, this is not for me. So,
Yep. He said
but
it was going to be too dark, if I remember correctly. So he decided not to write it.
oh yeah, that could be the case. I don't have it on me why he didn't, like, the very very specific reason why I didn't write it. But you might be right. You're probably right on that part because I haven't checked it in. But I mean, if I look it up and you complete it wrong, then fuck you. But anyway,
I heard it from the Lord of the Rings podcast that I was listening to before. That's where I got it from.
yeah, no. But the thing is that, and I think we talked about this before, is that the thing with Tolkien, right? And I mean, when you read Lord of the Rings, it's because I mean, my dad read them to me as a kid, and then I reread them just last year, I think, or the year before. And the thing that got me that time is, one, how real he made everything feel. Like, it feels so real the way he wrote it. Like, it was so real. And the second part is how fucking hostile that world is. Because in the movies and stuff, it's like, oh yeah, this seems a little bad, but whatever. But when you read it, it's like, Jesus Christ, this is horrible.
Yeah. I mean, everything outside the frontiers of the cities. I guess inside the cities is actually not so bad.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty good.
But outside it is like, you'd understand why no one wants to go on an adventure.
Yeah,
normally. It's just the weirdos that want to.
Yeah, and then like within the Shire too, they have those tombs with the ghosts, and then they have that old man Willow and things.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
I mean, people don't go there.
Yeah, no. It was I don't remember. I don't remember why they walked through the woods. I actually don't remember anymore. They weren't supposed
to. Away from the black thing. I don't remember the name.
Yeah, the ring wraiths.
Yes, they were trying, because they kept being seen in the road, and they saw, I think, I don't remember who it was, asking about Frodo. And so they just decided to cut the forest and try to get to the inn without going through the road. So that's why they went there.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think it's something like this. But the thing is, like, with Tolkien, when you like read him and stuff, like, the thing is, like, oh man, like there's just certain part. Obviously, I like the whole, Valinor, like this, the elf, where the elves live and stuff. I love that the most. But it's so interesting, like, because when I was rereading it like last year, I don't know if you caught on to this, but he foreshadows the ending for Frodo in the beginning of Fellowship of the Ring. Like, it's like very early he foreshadows it, because he says something to the tune of, "Oh man, it's packed. Like, I have packed it somewhere. It's in a box or something, because otherwise I would have found it." But the point is that it's something like he has this dream where he sees this lighthouse on the edge of the west, and like the Middle Earth west, not beyond, and this lighthouse like shines on him and then to the west, and then it never shines again. It's something like this to signify that when you leave the Shire, you will never come home. You will just leave forever. And I just loved that when I was rereading it. It's like so fucking cool.
Are you sure that's not your inner English teacher trying to see meaning where there isn't and sing too much into it? That's a possibility too.
I mean, it could have been just that Tolkien wrote about this lighthouse because it was fucking cool, I guess. That's also a possibility.
Tolkien does like lighthouses, that's for sure.
This is this super cool lighthouse. I'm just gonna spend 5 pages writing about the lighthouse.
I mean, they're important to the story, right? So
the lighthouse is not. That one isn't at all.
I mean, which one are you talking about?
Here's the thing. I don't have the book.
Which goes like to fairyland, like the one close by the fairies. Which you know what I mean.
Yes.
And I mean, he also used, I don't remember if it was a tower or a lighthouse, which he used as a metaphor for, what's the name of that text? Like the Anglo-Saxon medieval manuscript history stuff.
Wait, do you mean like King Arthur?
No. It's like Beowulf, I think.
Oh, Beowulf. Yes.
Yes, he talks about Beowulf as like when people criticize it, he says that people criticize it for the bricks, so they try to look into what's in the soup instead of appreciating the taste. And he says that what you should do is you should use the bricks to build a tower or a lighthouse. I don't remember which word he uses. So you can climb and see, like, from a distance, what it's like when you're on top of the tower. And so I'm pretty sure that that metaphor, like the tower, is something he uses quite a lot, because he uses it even as when he's being, a literary critic.
But can't I say then the same thing to you then? That you just said to me about my interpretation of the lighthouse?
I mean, since there's two interpretations, and every interpretation is equally valid, we can't know which one is true. And so
no, we can never know which one is true, but we can know which one is more likely, right?
I mean,
we don't have to go into which one is more likely. Okay. We can just agree that one is more likely.
Can you draw the function of the probabilities? Can you calculate the number of possible universes in which each probability is going to occur and each isn't, so we can compare which one is more likely and which one isn't?
No. If you think about it, like, I think, because if I remember correctly, in this lighthouse, there's a hitman. And this hitman, Frodo has to get past this hitman. But, it's something cringe Brazilian, I don't know.
He has the Arkenstone.
Yes, exactly. And then fucking Harry Potter shows up riding on Drogon, and then they fly off to fucking Narnia.
Yes.
That's about it.
And you have to run. You have to run away from it.
Unless it's possessed by Morgoth. The devil, I mean.
Yes.
But to close off, yes, I know that we both understand each other here. I'm not saying, obviously, I'm not saying that I have some fucking connection to Tolkien. I was like, only I know what he meant. That's not what I meant.
I was pushing you a bit. I do not disagree with you when it comes to you saying that was a foreshadowing. I just don't know it better than to be able to confirm or deny it. So I was just,
Yeah. No, I kind of suspected what's going on. But I mean, just to be clear, like, I could obviously be wrong. It could be what you just said too, like, that it's like, it was about Beowulf. That it was like, he wasn't, like, I don't remember exactly what you said, but a word for word, but it could have been that too, for sure. But there was, just to leave things off, there's one thing though that it is so clear that if you're saying no to this, that I know you're trolling. You're never going to convince me you're not trolling. And that is, in the end,
that Morgoth liked the Star Girl, right?
Actually, the Star Girl was in a jury relationship with Morgoth. He is a femboy. It is canon.
Now fanboy Morgoth would get a lot of people interested.
Yeah, they would pick up Silmarillion immediately just to get to the good parts. Anyway, in the end of Return of the King, Femgoth, essentially, yes. At the end of Return of the King, when Saruman dies, there's this really cool scene, and it's what happens is that when he dies, like, the spirit of his body leaves, like the spirit, like his fae. That's what Tolkien called it, I think. And it leaves his body, and then it stands up. It stands up like a huge tower, or like a shape, or something like this. And then it says this, and it's so cool that something to do. The tall, white shape looked hopefully to the west, but the wind from the west was bitter, and the shape looked down and sighed and disappeared forever. And I was like, that's so fucking cool. It's so cool.
Remind me, what's happening in the west?
That is where Valinor is, and where all the, Valar and Maiar are. So what happens is
They,
that
so they basically said, "Fuck off! Don't come here. You're not welcome."
yeah, you are banished essentially,
I
and
see. Got it.
well, not banished, but what happens is that he goes to, because of all his sins that Saruman commits, he's like forced to dwell out, not even inside, but outside the house of the Undying, and can never enter until the apocalypse.
It's the House of the Undying is a curious thing because I always think it's like a basement.
Yeah.
But why is the entrance not better than the basement itself? Because you figure that maybe there's like some sunlight in the entrance.
Mm. Or it might be that he just walks the halls forever. But it's something that something he can't move on. He can't be reincarnated. And
Yeah.
but that also brings a question. But that's actually I'm gonna write it up and we can talk about it next time. I'm actually gonna write down this question as I'm telling it to you. Here. What when a Balrog dies, what happens to it? Does it get reincarnated into its heavenly form, or does it just, you know?
There's no way that it does, right?
That's the thing, right? Because the then you also have what happens to the orcs when they die, and so on, so on.
It's not. I don't think that their transformation is reversible, right?
That's the thing. I don't know.
But I mean, do you know any case in which it is? Like, is there any that come to mind?
So what I do know is, if I'm not mistaken, is that he mentions that if you're evil, but then turn your head or like your whole fey or whatever I say back to the Valar, then you become forgiven, but you have to like work for them, and then there's some sort of justice system there taking place. Like he never explains it fully, but I mean, you have, for example, like the guy I love, Finrod, Galadriel's brother. He does that. He gets he's not fully evil, but he does some evil shit. But he gets forgiven and then reincarnated as an elf again. But he was never an orc, so I don't know. But it stands to reason, like an orc, like a first generation orc that was corrupted. If that orc escapes, and then that orc should be able to be, turned back to an elf.
I mean, it's like, I feel like Tolkien did not write that precisely because he wanted the orcs to be the kind of enemies you could kill without feeling like it's bad. You know?
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm not sure if there are many times in which characters question the morality of killing orcs, but it seems that the conclusion is always, well, they're orcs, so it's fine.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Like no one gives a shit about the orcs, sadly. But he has said, someone asked him once if there were quote unquote good orcs, like orcs that weren't evil, and he said that yes, in this one of the bigger towns and cities, there did exist families of orcs that were just merchants.
Interesting.
So there were orcs that weren't evil, like they just said, fuck this is cringe, and then, started a family, I guess, or something like this.
Yeah. He also said something similar about the trolls. Because a girl wrote a letter, because he gave like the name Greg to one of the trolls, and the girl felt bad about the trolls because they got beat up. And So she asked whether there were no good trolls or something like that. And Tolkien said that I actually don't remember what he responded, but I think it was something to the tune of, yes, there are good trolls, but they would be very rare.
Mm. I mean, he also did, I think in the book somewhere it does say something like, oh yeah, not all of the bad guys are bad. Something like this. I don't remember, but...
I don't think he said something like that.
I mean, it's not
all the bad guys are bad.
I mean, yeah, it obviously doesn't say that, of course not. But it's it's something to the tune of two people are discussing something, and then they have something like a discussion about the evil characters, and they say something to the tune of that not all of them are bad or something.
Let's see.
But also, what is this? You sent me a meme. Let me see this before. What? What is this meme? I don't get it.
I mean, she knows what she likes.
What was? I don't get this meme at all. What is the joke supposed to be?
I mean, there is no joke. It's just pick me up. It's a compliment.
Okay. All right. I will. I don't know. If I understand it, I will let you know. Okay.
Okay.
But as always, it was really nice talking to you. I will not, as I said, I will not put a big ass in the thumbnail this time.
Go for the underboob, dude.
Yes, please. I will. I will go for the underboob. Nice. Yeah, take care. It was nice talking to you.
See you later. Take care.